Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Lucius, can I go to the library for the Flax exam?
Can you just wait 2 seconds to look over the answers to the quiz?
Absolutely.
Lights, please.
Yep.
All right. So, I do believe we have. Oh, I think I hit record. Yeah, I did hit record. Okay, good. So let's take a look at the quiz first. And questions like number 1 are just, this is how they normally ask about rational and irrational. They ask about operating with them, but they don't ask you to actually do the operation. They ask you about the results. In this case, the product of 2 irrational numbers is irrational is not always true. The reason is very straightforward. Radical 5 times radical 5 would be the square root of 25. And what's the square root of 25?
5.
5. Or radical 5 times radical 20 is radical 100, which is 10. So therefore, you don't always get an irrational number. Sometimes you do. For example, square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 6, and that's irrational. But you don't always get that. Next one. I think everybody got this right in terms of the 40 is the one-time fee, 90 is the repeating fee. And then this guy, just about everybody got this right too. You see the common factor of 100, pull it out, factor x squared minus 25, x plus 5, x minus 5. You're going to end up reversing them, negative 5 and 5. You could also put it in the calculator and look at the table, and you could also just plug in the choices and see which one works. Any questions on the front side? Now remember what I said before, any question you get wrong, you should go back over again. You will find most of the time they're not difficult, you just need to understand what they're looking for. Yeah?
If they ask us a question like number 1 on the regions, how can you like see, because I tried
Bless you.
each one of them, and they seem to be true, so I was like, when would be the case that they would not be true? So I was having trouble with that because I didn't know
Yes,
what to
there's
find.
no magic pill, you just gotta keep trying numbers until you find one.
Mr. Lindquist?
Obviously, the numbers you chose, yeah, go ahead. Obviously, the numbers that you chose were numbers that didn't show. So you just keep working them until you find the set that shows. All right, so this one. Guys, this was an unbelievably easy question. The wording was difficult. What they really asked you to do was factor it. What could the possible factors be, A and B, to come up with x squared plus 10x plus 24? So you have to multiply out to 24, and then you have to add up to 10. That's 6 and 4. So the values for A can be 6 and 4 in either order. It doesn't make a difference.
What? That doesn't make any sense because it says B is an integer and find all possible values of B. So he went and counts X.
Well, the B could be the 4 or the 6. When I put the answers down, Anthony, I didn't put it on that page, but it could be 6 or 4.
Okay.
Those are the possible values of B. Now, the next one, a few people stopped at the second step. You should put them together and get 1.042. But I gave you credit if you stopped here because it is an equation. You needed to recognize that when you're talking about interest in a bank and so on and so forth, you're talking about something exponential. You needed to know that. Hannah, I think you put t minus 1 up here.
Yeah.
That's when it's a sequence. All right? It's not a sequence, so it just stays t. So it's always the initial amount times 1 plus or minus, depending on if you're saving or spending, the percent as a decimal. So it's 3,000 times 1.042 to the t. Now keep in mind, that is not a difficult question in any way, shape, or form. But you may have missed that question because it's been a while. So if you go home tonight and you review that, and you know what I always did is I always kept a notebook. And in the notebook, I would write down every question I got wrong every day. And then I would review those questions before I would go to bed at night. And inside of about 2 weeks, you never get anything wrong anymore. Yes?
How come it's A and T? Isn't that question except fine?
I know what.
You could write B, you could write A of T, you could write Y. Any of those I would take. Okay?
AT what? AT what?
That means the amount after so much of time. But you could write b equals, you could write y equals, any of those is good. Now, over here, it wants to know when they're equal. If you're going to know when they're equal, you have to set them equal to each other in an equation. And then you solve the equation and you'll come up with 18,000. Okay? Any questions? All right. I have some select questions from last night's homework to go over. I didn't do all of them, but I did some select ones. So, let's get out last night's homework and let's take a look at this first one. And I want to teach you something very quick that I didn't cover yesterday that I want to add to what I covered yesterday. It's about linear regressions. Okay, now, we input the data into list 1 and list 2, and then we do our linear regression equation, and it tells us the equation y equals 0.05 times x minus 0.92. When you do that, sometimes they will ask you for the correlation coefficient. Let me show you how to get that now. I know we're a little short on time. Everybody very quickly put this into list 1 and list 2. When the bell rings, I'm going to keep scrolling through the pages so that you can look at these homework answers tonight if you need to, and then you can ask me any questions and extra help tomorrow. Okay, is all the data in list 1 and list 2? Okay, now I need you to go to catalog. It's on the bottom left of your calculator. It's like the blue button and then it's above something. So go to catalog, and I want you to scroll down. Everything is alphabetical until you see diagnostics on. Keep scrolling down until you see diagnostics on, highlight it, enter it. It's going to be a while till you get there.
We just press,
Diagnostic what?
we just press
Diagnostics on.
X, like, we just press X to the negative 1 power. Because it's in alpha, and if you press that one, it's the letter
Oh,
D.
it goes to D? Okay. Hold it, don't go. Get to diagnostics on, turn it on. Don't go.
Brian
Now.
Egan to guide us. Brian Egan.
Don't worry,
guidance.
listen, do this because I don't want you to forget how to do it. It's the last thing I didn't show you. Now, go
Kiana
to
Startup, please come to the main office. Kiana
Stat
Startup.
Calc. Go to linear regression, which is LINREG, AX plus B, whatever. Hit enter. And if you go down a little, you'll see one of them says R equals. Does everybody see that? Yeah. That's your correlation coefficient. So diagnostics on, linear regression, the R is your correlation coefficient. Okay? I will scroll through, and if you have any other questions, you can ask me tomorrow at Extra Help. This one here was just the points, ignore the line.
Cindy, your teacher didn't ditch you halfway in the year and leave you at a Spanish teacher.
That's okay.